Hello everybody, CO6 here, and today I have a special video for you. I'm going to tell you how to make a profit in the video game Team Fortress 2 for the PC. In Team Fortress 2, after the Manconomy update, you could buy things from the store, and one of these things were a key. And this key can open crates, and if you open a crate with an unusual hat, it is worth anywhere from $30 to well over $1,000. That's right, $1,000 in real life money. So the reason, and you can also make a profit in these games by trading your items. And within 2 weeks, I have made about 13 keys in profit. And the reason why people do this is because they're nuts and they want to collect these virtual items. And with these keys that I accrued in profit, I'm going to take and buy a Counter-Strike Global Offensive with. So, in order to make a profit, you need to know where to start, and that's by getting a premium account. It costs $5, and you can just go buy a couple of keys, tell someone to give you a couple of crates. You can open them. Maybe you'll get lucky and get an unusual. But if you're anything like me, you're going to have to work your way up from scratch. Oh, wait a minute, I did unbox an unusual. Let's neither here nor there. Let's just assume that I never unboxed an unusual. So, the first thing you need to do is get a couple of weapons, and then make scrap from them or sell them for 1 scrap each. That's about how much weapons are worth, 1 scrap each. If it drops and is a weapon, it's worth 1 scrap. So, after you get a couple of scrap, you want to go scrap bank. And what scrap banking does is you give 1 scrap for any 2 craftable weapons. But there's a trick. People will often post uncraftable weapons or dirty weapons. And these aren't going to be craftable. And people usually pay more for craftable just because you can do more things with them as opposed to the dirty versions. And you always have to make sure that every weapon is craftable. Otherwise, just kindly tell them to replace them with one that's craftable if they offer dirty weapons. So, after you get about a ref in profit or whatever, you want to go on regular servers and ask if anyone has name tags or description tags or decal tools or paint. And you can probably get it off them for a couple of scraps. Some guy actually gave me a decal tool this morning, actually, which was quite nice of him. I gave him a couple of weapons in return. And the thing is, these things are worth anywhere from a ref to, or from 2 rec to a ref. A rec being a reclaimed metal and a ref being a refined metal. These metal is like the cash option in Team Fortress 2. Metal, keys, bills, buds, those kinds of things. So after you make about a ref, 2 ref in profit, what you want to do is start buying craft hats. And craft hats usually sell for 1.33, but in order to make a profit, you need to buy these things for 1 refined. The reason why people sell these craft hats is because it takes 3 refined to build a hat, or 2 craft hats to build a hat, or a new hat I should say. And by buying 2 craft hats for under 3 refined, you're essentially saving metal that you could use to do something else with. But the thing is, so you want to buy these things for 1 ref each, and then resell them for a key or resell both of them for a key, or resell them individually for 1.33 refined each. And that's what I normally do in order to make my profit, because people will usually be willing to sell their really bad hats for 1 refined each. So, where to go from here? After you make about a key to 2 keys of profit, you want to keep buying items for low and then being able to sell them for a high. What I tend to avoid is strange weapons and strange parts. People will sell these things for dirt cheap. Like, I've been sold a strange rocket launcher for 1 refined. It's worth 1.66. But I wasn't really able to resell it until for a couple of hours. And these are the things you have to watch out for, because not a lot of people are into strange weapons as they used to be. So if you get stuck with a strange part or strange weapon, you're going to have a bad time reselling it. Even though I have seen people get good deals on them. Now, you want to avoid getting scammed. And that usually involves getting replaced clean weapons and hats with dirty weapons and hats. So say you're buying any craftable hat for 1 refined, and they offer you an alien swarm parasite, a Ghastliurus gibbous, or any dirty hat. It doesn't. Alien swarm hats and Ghastliurus gibbous don't say they're uncraftable, but they're dirty. So you really have to watch out for those, and you can't pay that much for them. Now, what you have to do next is say they do post something dirty. Just kindly tell them to replace it with something clean, and then move along with your merry excursion trading or whatever. What you also want to do is avoid is severely getting underpaid for your stuff. Now, I have seen unusuals go for 1 key before. That's ridiculous. There is no unusual in this game that is worth less than at least 10 keys. At the worst, maybe 1 Bill's hat, which is about 8 keys, and at best you can get 45 butts, but that's Burning Killer's Kabuto, and let's not go there. So what you want to do is make sure that people aren't scamming you. You always want to make sure to check the spreadsheet to make sure that nobody's lowballing you. Make sure that they're giving you a good deal. And you want to make sure that they don't force you to trade or coerce you to trade by saying, yeah, this is really good, it's going to go up in price. Chances are it's not. And this one guy offered me 5 keys for my my unusual hat. It's a Nuts and Bolts Furious Fukumigasa. And this hat, even though it's nuts and bolts, which is usually regarded as the worst effect, it's still worth a buzz. And he was offering me 5 keys for it. I'm like, no. I went on the Unusual Bible. I know that it's worth a buzz. You're not going to get this off of me for 5 keys. He then called me an idiot by saying this is the worst hat. It's the worst effect. I know it's not the worst hat because it's a soldier hat. The worst hats are are heavy hats. So I knew he was trying to scam me, so I just exited out of the trade and told him to fuck off. Now, what you also want to do is if someone's going to pay you in items, you have to make sure that they overpay. And now I have 2 situations where this occurred to me. And the first one, I was selling this pink paint for 1 key, and this guy came up to me. He said, hey man, I want your pink paint, but I don't have a key. Do you mind if I overpay in items? And I said sure, and the first thing he offered was a strange dead ringer, which is worth a key, which I had no trouble selling whatsoever. He also offered 3 more stranges, which were cancer stranges, but I managed to get rid of them, and a clean sticky bomb jumper. And this amounted to about an extra ref and a half of metal. So I made a pretty good deal out of it, even though I had to take an extra half an hour or hour to resell these things. But there was another case in which this guy came up to me and said, hey man, I want your Surgeon Stall helmet. I said, okay, 3.33 in refined metal. You can pay in keys as well, or a key in like point into reclaimed or whatever. And he was like, sorry man, I'll trade you a 1-for-1 with my Warsworn helmet. And I was like, no, that's worth 3 refined. Then he offers a Strange Market Gardener, which now is an equal deal, but I'm like, no, I'm going to have to resell these things, and I'm not going to be able to make a profit. And he was like, yeah, well, I do too. I'm going to have to resell this in order to make a profit. I'm like, you come up to me and then tell me what I should be charging for this. I'm like, no, you want this hat, fine. 3.33 in metal or keys, or you can overpay in items for 4 refined. He says, no, you don't know how to trade, and I have an account dedicated to making profit. This account has 7 keys in it, which I had made in 5 days. Clearly, I'm not the one who doesn't know how to trade. But what he does is he goes into the main chat and starts spamming about how I don't know how to trade and how I shouldn't be charging overpay if he's paying in items. Everyone else decides to agree with me, and he looks like an idiot. So if you want someone to pay you in items for your stuff, make sure it's an overpay, and make sure you'll be able to sell these things. Again, I am not advocating you buying stranges, especially ones that are only worth a reclaimed, because these things are tough sells, and I've honestly seen these things go for sell for a scrap before. So you want to make sure you avoid these. I made this video after I watched the AcesGamer video in how he got one weapon all the way up to an unusual in a week. I am at almost 2 weeks now, and I only have 13 and a half keys, which is about maybe a third or half of what he did in double the time, which isn't bad at all, but considering how great of a trader he is and how quickly he was able to accrue all of this worth and items just by one-for-one trading is quite incredible to me, and I salute him. I salute all that he's done. He's like the top 60 richest people in Team Fortress 2 or whatever, according to backpack.com/TF. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. Be able to make your way up from a couple of weapons or even one weapon all the way up to an unusual. I so far started with a power jack 2 Fridays ago. I got it up to 13 keys, or a Bill's hat. It's actually a Bill's hat, 2 keys, and about 3 keys worth of other crap. So, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to leave you with this. If you have any questions at all regarding trading, or if you wanted to say hi, that would also be nice. Please feel free to send me an inbox message either on here or if you're on Smogon there. That's really all I have to say. I don't have a video for you today. It's just a bunch of pictures, but I hope you enjoy listening to this, and I'm out. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment if you have any concerns or any criticisms. Thank you, and I will see you soon.